My name is Simon Aeby. I'm the director of Diary of a Woman, which is starting in cinemas this Friday. Go and see it.
Next, Martin.
Yes, my name is Marcel Schneider. I'm the lead actor, lead role in this movie Diary of a Woman, which is starting in India. And I'm acting for 20 years in Switzerland. I'm very pleased to be here in India.
You are the producer. Okay. My name is Remo Mogli. I'm the producer of Diary of a Woman, which comes to the theaters in India this Friday, 12th of September. You should go and watch it.
Thank you so much. Manoj ji.
I'm Manoj Dhanbana from JVL. I'm the distributor of the film Diary of Women. Come and watch the movie on releasing in 12 September in cinema.
Identity, and it is based on a very traumatic experience I had when I was about 15 years old. I went to school and one of my best friends killed himself because of gender identity. And this experience remained with me a couple of years. And later on, when I started to become a filmmaker, I met Marcel, the actor, and actually we know each other since 25 years. And the story basically came back up in my mind, and I transformed it into a screenplay and asked him if he would be ready to play the main lead, And he agreed, and we tried to get funding from the Swiss government, which was very difficult because of the issue, and because it's a film that I was intended to shoot in English, Normally they said, it's amazing what you're doing. So we went on to do screenings, at the Cannes Film Festival, which basically opened the market to the world, because it's an English language movie. And there we met Manoj, and he really liked the movie. So that's how that's basically the story of the film and how it came to be here.
As your title says, that Diary of a Woman. But its film is all about LGBT community. What do you want to say about this?
It is the story about a man who lives his regular life. He's a teacher in a small village in the Swiss countryside, and his lawyer calls him and tells him that his mother, which is at the hospital, will never be able to go back to her flat. And he grew up with this mother alone, her and the little son. So he is basically forced to go back to the city in Switzerland, to Bern, which is the main capital of Switzerland, and to take care, to get rid of all the furniture and, move everything out. And he is there all by himself, and he tries to clean up everything, but he gets confronted with his past, and he finds a red dress that his mother was always wearing when she was going out at night, and he plays with the thought of, slipping into her character basically, and he starts to experience it. He starts to experience the adventure his mother has when she was young, So he basically transforms slowly into the role of his mother, when she was young. So that's the gender identity, He feels that he is he feels the feminine side inside himself, and he starts living out his fantasy, and that's basically, the midpoint of the film. And then you observe him, what he experiences, what he experiences as a woman, being a man, basically.
As you are playing the lead role in the film, could you tell me something about your character and what kind of journey was going through in your life while playing this difficult character?
Yeah, this is.
Simon, if you can watch.
Look has to be in the center from wherever questions come, but you should look in the center.
Yeah, here. So about your character.
Yeah, it was really kind of difficult to play a character which is, as a feminine person. I had to dive into this, feminine side of myself and find out where can I get some, inspirations or whatever I felt when I was young. And so I realized was always something which I could bring up, but it took me quite some time to really get into it. We started filming maybe a few weeks or months, and it took time to really dive in and find what was needed to play a woman. And I found some trouble by night to sleep. I couldn't find sleep. It was tough. It was very tough to get in and out. And I had to cut my hair more than 2 or 3 times. Shave hair. Yeah. So that was. I did some other movies, smaller roles, theater, but this was really something I get on my limits, physically and psychologically.
Yeah, so it's hardly 3 days to release actually, but we are still not able to see the trailer. I was just looking for a full-length trailer actually. Hardly we could see a little bit snapshot of this movie. So what is the reason behind this? This is just 3 days to release and still trailer is not out in India.
Only we are having a 1-minute teaser. So there are
Why we don't have a dialogue trailer,
full length dialogues
trailer.
and release.
Okay.
Tell me about your strategy of the advertisement and PR strategy. What made you don't want to shoot the entire dialogue to the audience and you want to do a small teaser? Go with small teaser. What is the reason behind this?
Yeah.
So basically it's a strategy.
Yeah, PR strategy.
Without the dialogue, only the just feel of the movie.
Manojji Central.
People can go and people can go and watch the movie. They are more curious what is about the movie, more about the story and everything. That's a PR strategy.
So Manojji, what is the main trigger point to bring this film in Indian market?
Only thing is like to bring foreign cinemas good content to Indian audience, because nowadays people are more curious about the good content movie, not the sarcasm movie. That's why we are trying to really first time Swiss movie in India.
What kind of collaboration we can see the Swiss government in this film?
Swiss government is supporting the release of the film also. It's a good thing to release the film in India. They are supporting them financially also to release the film.
So you already said Swiss government is supporting this film. Have you ever tried to talk to Indian government or Indian people to show the film or anything like that?
They don't in India. Everyone nobody supports cinema.
So topic is very important, LGBTQ, as you know.
Any topic, if you go to Indian government is only supporting the big sarcasm things.
So I have a question from producer. This subject is very global, and the making of the time is very big, as told by Kate. It's taken almost a decade to complete the film. Okay. So how the things were changed in world in this last 1 decade, we can see in the film. ये फिल्म को बनने में ना
हाँ वो तो उन्होंने स्क्रिप्टिंग से काउंट करते हैं ना, हमारे यहाँ पे तो फिल्मिंग को काउंट करते हैं, लोग फर्स्ट डे थॉट आती है वहाँ से काउंट करते हैं।
ओके
इनसे पूछो, इस इंग्लिश इज नॉट दैट
ओके so sir, the film is taken almost a decade time to shoot and complete, so the changes in the whole world was definitely multiple changes we can see. So how the film will relate with today's audience?
I think when we started the film actually 10 years ago, it wasn't really an international theme, gender identity, back then as it is now. So we were basically ahead of our times, But it was such a, the experience I had when I was really young just stuck with me. And then when it became like a topic that was basically worldwide, I said, why don't we do it? Why don't we try this in Switzerland, And it was, for me, it was the most important thing is to find an actor that is believable as a male, as he is believable as a woman, You can't just put on a wig and think, this male is now a woman. And I think Marcel actually portrayed it I think it's an Oscar-worthy performance that he did. And it cost us, it cost us a lot of energy, a lot of work together. We rehearsed it like every day basically. We worked for like 12 hours, Sometimes some of the scenes, there's like a suicide scene when he tries to kill himself. I don't want to spoil the storyline, but we actually rehearsed it for a full day and a full night, and we actually shot the scene, I think, like 2 o'clock in the morning, And it was basically the whole movie evolved, I did big movies, I made movies with millions of dollars, like 8-10 million, like big epics. And I thought, if you want to really slip into a character, into his mind, we have to be a very small team. So we're basically just the 4 of us shooting this movie. There was a lighting engineer, and he put everything up, and then we sent him away, and then we shot it like in a very intimate way, And when you have the chance to do it, then you get the results that we achieved now, basically. Yeah.
So when it came in your mind first that you should release in India also, and basically, how do you consider India as a market for a film viewer?
When I make movies, I don't think about the market, I think about my vision, which is the most important thing. If you want to be authentic, if you don't want to do, movies that are based on movies you already seen, then you have to be very original. And I never think about, what happens to the movie when it's finished, I only think about my vision, and I take a lot of time to select the people I work with, and I think that was the most important thing, to find a very, very dedicated director of photography and the set designer. We find an old apartment which was just perfect for the shoot, which is very difficult to find like authentic locations in Switzerland because everything is so neat. And everything fell into place, and the rest is just pure dedication, not about thinking of the market. We never thought that this movie will come out in India, and it was a lucky strike for us, we are very thankful for that, Yeah.
So when you think of India, so why don't you think of having in multiple languages like Hindi and other Indian languages? So do you have any plan to go beyond English also? So or just English only will be there?
You mean for my next project?
For this only, for a dubbing in Indian language.
Yeah, of course. But the concept of the movie is that there is very little on-camera dialogue. There's a lot of off voice that you hear during the film. So you hear basically what he is thinking. So that makes it very easy to convert the movie in any language you want. It doesn't take a lot of dialogue sync and stuff like that.
So talking about the timing of release, this Friday on 12th, another 4 movies are also releasing on that day also. So don't you think any kind of competition or you have anything in mind?
You mean if I'm afraid that other movies will start on Friday? Yeah. No, not really. No.
There's four other movies are.
We see what happens. I think the topic of the movie is so unique, but I think it has a real chance to be appreciated by the public, basically.
Okay, Manoj.
How many theaters you are planning to release in?
Around 100 cinema, because if my opinion the movie is good content wise, then it will survive in the more cinema. Like I'll give the example, one of the movie we released 6 months back, Parko. We started with 100 cinema, not 190 cinema in first week, or 20th December. But content was good on 1st January, it was on 1500 cinema. And some of the movie will be released in a 500 cinema, by Monday it will be in 100 cinema. If the movie is good, it will grow.
Are there any plans for before the movie release or after the movie release? Any special study for LBG community?
Yeah, on the 11th of September we are keeping premiere, so we are inviting them.
Okay, and for media screening?
Yeah, on same day, the Shukla ji.
On the same day.
On Thursday we are doing press
In June PVR.
Okay, great. So what are the expectations, sir, by the way, from Indian audience for this movie?
You mean what I expect?
Yeah.
I don't really know the Indian, movie tradition that well. Some of the Indian movies came to Switzerland as well, and we always, from our point of view, looking at Indian movies, they're always very colorful. They're like light-hearted. There's a lot of dancing, a lot of scenes that they shoot in the Swiss Alps, and this movie is very much a contrast to that. It's not so much make you good feeling movie. It's more like a psychological drama in the sense of like cinema of Cronenberg and David Lynch, which are, or even Polanski, which are my idols basically.
Yeah, to Sir especially, it's really a very challenging role what we could see in a small teaser actually. So when you first came to know about this character that you are going to play, what came in your mind first that you are going to play such character of,
I was very good leader. He's a very good teacher. He taught me what he wants to see. So I just find an imagination, a fantasy, explore fantasy on how to do that. And therefore, you have to have fantasy. Especially you have to have a vision of what you would feel like to be a woman. So it transformed very well when he gave me the task, the direction I got into. But it came. But I was ready to do that. I was searching, but I was ready. I was not, I was curious also, finding my own feeling side.
Can I just tell a little anecdote? When we were shooting, we were shooting a lot of scenes at night, and he was dressed up as a woman. So we're driving around in these cable cars, in Basel, in all the big cities basically. And it was interesting to see how people from the outside reacted. Not because we were shooting, because the team was so small, they didn't realize that we were actually shooting. Because the camera was way back, and he was sitting alone by himself in a cable car. And there were actually even people, angry, beating at the windows like this, because they got upset, they couldn't deal. They saw that he wasn't really a woman, but maybe he was, maybe he was a transvestite, or so you could already feel at that stage during the shooting that something was really going on, And when we started editing the movie, it actually this kind of feeling condensed into the content of the movie, and I think that's what you feel when you look at it, when you watch it.
So before making or during the scripting of the film, you must have discussion with some LGBT people, kind of.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's we did that. I mean, as a student, we sometimes dressed up as a woman. We went out, we played role games and stuff. I didn't know the community too well because it wasn't really developed in Switzerland at all. It just started to really become more accepted as we were shooting the movie, interesting enough, So it was very timely. It was kind of a parallel movement as it got more and more common in the world. We were working at this movie, and it took us years to finish it because he didn't have time. I was doing other stuff. The director of photography didn't have time. We didn't have the money. So it took. That's the reason why it took us so long to finish it.
The first version. I mean, the first version didn't really work. I gotta say.
There was a first version. There was like a 50-minute version, and we showed it to distributors. They said, this is really interesting. If this movie was 90 minutes long, we would buy it.
Yeah,
and then that,
Then came this COVID period. 2 years.
That's another story.
Nothing was going on. The film was somewhere.
We couldn't work during COVID. We couldn't get together. It was difficult to go out. You had to have the vaccination pass and all this crap, And that took like 2 years, It took 2 more years to finish it, after COVID,
But today we can say that it helped us actually because the community was able to develop quite a lot during this time.
Exactly.
So now we as producers think that now is the right time to talk publicly about these kind of topics. And that's why we are interested in this movie, because it shows what's really going on, and it's only one character, one life of a person, but there are many people out there with same stories, just in a different version.
So, any particular incident that you are inspired to make a film on such kind of subject, or it's a generic thought process of making a film like this?
I think not.
Any particular incident that you met that inspired you to make a movie on this subject?
That's actually what I was saying at the beginning. You know, this friend of mine who killed himself, he actually suffocated himself. You know, and that's, you know, we work this into our movie. You know, it's a kind of, you know, I don't want to spoil it. You really have to see it, but it's very unique. I've never seen a scene like that. You know, and you have to see it.
We'd love to watch.
It's very dramatic. It's very explicit, and it's very unique. You know, so.
Teaser is quite inspiring. It's quite appealing actually. So we would love to watch the
They
film.
show one very unique way of society.
In India, especially, this is the first time that there is no trailer at all before release. So I think it's a unique thought process.
Yeah.
And
What's interesting, you know, when we showed the movie to Mono, she said, you know, maybe we have to censor it. You know, we have to send it to the censoring board. We have to cut out quite a lot of nude scenes, you know, because you're not allowed to show naked breasts here, which is very different in Europe. You can be very explicit, and there are some shots that we have to blur, which I think is a little sad, you know. But yeah, that's the way it is.
there's one lip lock kissing scene in the teaser. What I saw just few minutes back. So censor certificate and all these things are done in India.
Yeah, censor is done.
Everything is done. So it's a certificate.
A certificate, of course.
Okay. Great. So anything else?
Yeah, thank you.
Simon, we are the country who make more than 1,000 films every year.
Yeah.
Have you heard about any actor or films in India?
Of course, we know Bollywood has an idea of what they do.
You're asking about the name of the actor.
But I don't know actors, I don't know movies.
Are you aware about Bollywood movies? Bollywood
Yeah, of
actors?
course. It's, you know, when we think about Indian movies, you think about Bollywood movies, you know, and Shah Rukh Khan and all these famous people here. We all know them, you know, but to actually to get Swiss films to India is difficult, you know, and these basically the links between the two countries. And I actually was already thinking about making a movie that really connects the two cultures, you know, the Indian culture and the Swiss culture. Yeah.
Suppose if you wanted to take any Bollywood actor for this lead role, who would be your first choice?
You mean for this movie?
Yes.
I have no idea to tell you. Unfortunately, I have no idea.
For this movie.
I have no idea. And you see, you really have to know. You have to know the mentality of the people, which is, you know, when you think about Swiss people, you see now a couple of Swiss people here, but you don't really know the mentality too well. And I think Indian people are much more open than Swiss people are kind of rather closed in, you know, like rather private, you know.
But we would accept applications for the second
For the sequel.
yeah, for the sequel.
Sure.
For the future projects, would you like to take someone from Bollywood star?
Yeah, I actually thought about, I came up with a storyline that I'm kind of working on, you know, to do a film. You know, I don't want to tell the storyline, but I actually told it to Mom.
Who would be your first choice from Bollywood?
They don't know any actor.
We don't, it's
Why
difficult.
they don't?
No,
As we rightly said, Shah Rukh Khan.
I really know Shah Rukh Khan, you know. And actually for my next movie that I'm shooting in Europe, I'm hoping to get him for a small role, you know, as a pilot in fact, you know, during the Second World War. So maybe it works because my wife is sorry that she couldn't come. Her family is related to him, you know, by our cousins, you know, which is interesting. So it would be nice to get him, maybe.
Anything?
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.